Hello everyone, my name's Kyle and welcome back to K4 Cubing, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to solve a Rubik's Cube. So in today's video I'm going to be teaching you guys the easiest way to solve a Rubik's Cube. This is nothing complicated. There's literally only like one or two algorithms that you have to do and they're not even hard. So yeah. Okay, before we get started, you need to know notation before you go into this tutorial. It's a very simple concept. I have a video on it teaching you what it is. So before you do it, go watch that video so you can actually understand what I mean when I say things like R or L or U and stuff like that. So one thing that we are going to be doing a lot is an algorithm or a trigger called sexy moves. So it's R, U, R prime, U prime, like this. And you notice if you keep repeating that a bunch of times, your cube will solve itself. And so you have sexy moves, and then left sexy moves, which is going to be L prime, U prime, L, U, like that. So, like that. That's really the only algorithm we're going to be doing. There's one more, but I'll get to that later. It's not hard. Okay, so the first step in solving the cube is getting the white cross up here. So you can see this cross, all these colors are lined up with their center pieces. So we have a white cross, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do very quick. This is very easy. So what we need to find is edge pieces. So you have corner pieces and edge pieces and center pieces. So we want to find an edge piece with white on it. So we have this one and this one. Just to make it easier, we're going to start with this one. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to line this piece up to this and pretty much just move it right here over the yellow center piece. So in this case, how you can do that is with this, then that. It's very simple. Oh, and look at that, we already have another one. We're gonna get all four white edge pieces. So we have these two, this one, and this one. And we're gonna move those around the yellow center piece, like that. So, next one you can see is very easy. We have this white and blue right here. Just one move. You can put it up here. And then we have this one. Now, this one's gonna be a little tricky because we have three already solved. So you can do it like this. Would put it here, but it moves this one out of the way. So to prevent that from happening, when you move this up here, all you have to do is rotate this top layer like this so that you can move this into the spot right here, and you'll have what you call a daisy. So yeah. If it's in the spot but flipped and the other three are taken, all you have to do is move it over here and like this, but that moves this out of the way. So if you move one out of the way, all you have to do is rotate this so you're not moving one out of the way, put it in, and you have it. So this is where we are right now. We have our daisy, and the next step is we're going to turn that into a cross like this. If your blue's in the front, you're trying to solve blue, yellow's on top, and you would put blue, line it up with the centerpiece, and do F2 like that. That puts it in spot. Now we're going to do that with all the rest. Right here we got very lucky, so we can just do F2, F2, F2. But the case isn't always going to be like that. Okay, so you have a case like this. You are going to, of course, do the first one. This one you see is already solved, so very simply you can go like that. Now you're going to find the next one. You see no more are solved now, so you're going to find the next one to solve. You're going to do, see, we're going to take blue, just for an example, blue and white, and we're going to rotate blue so it matches up with its centerpiece, hold it in front, and do F2. Now find the next color, red. Luckily, it's already solved. F2. Hold it in front. And then we'll do orange, which is the last one. Do a U move or U prime to line it up with its centerpiece, hold it in front, and do F2. And after you do that, you should have the entire cross. Okay, for the next step, we are going to solve the white side like this. And you may notice that not only is the white side solved, but you have these T shapes. All these colors here are solved according to each other too. If you solved this and all your pieces, all your edges weren't lined up correctly with each other, then you would have done it wrong. Okay, so from here we have our white cross that I've already showed you how to do that, and from here I'm going to show you how to get from here to a solved white side. So now you're going to find a corner piece with white on it. You're going to hold your white side on the bottom or yellow on the top. You're going to find a corner piece with white. Here's one right here. It's a corner piece and that's white. Now take note of the other two colors on the piece, blue and red. Now what you're going to do is you're going to rotate the cube like this until you find the blue and red centers. Hold those in front. Your piece is right here, keep track of that. You're going to do U moves until your corner piece is right above where it needs to go. And now, once it's in its spot, we're going to do the sexy move algorithm that I showed you earlier, R, U, R prime, U prime. And we are going to repeat that algorithm until the piece solves itself. Now the piece you can see is in a corner spot and these colors are connected too. So you're gonna find your next white corner piece. Here, we'll take this one. Line it up. It's green and orange, so find the green and orange centers, hold those in front of you, do U moves until this is in the front with it, and then do the sexy move algorithm until it's solved. Now we're going to keep doing that. Find your next corner piece with white. So white and now green and orange. Sorry, green and red. We have green and red. Hold that in front. Do U moves until this piece is in its spot. And do the algorithm. That one was really quick. And now here is the case where it might be a little confusing, where this piece is not in the top layer. But that's perfectly fine. If it's in its spot and simply rotated, you could do the exact same thing. Just keep swapping or keep doing the sexy move algorithm and it will eventually solve itself. You may find a case where a piece you want to swap is in a corner spot, but it's not in its corner spot. You notice that this is white, blue, and orange, and it is between the blue and red pieces rather than the blue and orange pieces. So when this is the case, all you have to do is the sexy move algorithm one time, and that puts it in the top layer. And then you can see it's orange and blue, line it up in front of its pieces, do the algorithm until it solves, and just move on from there. It's very simple. You might also have a case where this corner piece is solved, but you can tell that the corner is not in its spot. It's red and blue, but between red and green. It's literally the same as the last case. All you have to do is the sexy move algorithm one time, and that just puts it into the top layer. Line it up over its spot, and put it in. Okay, so now that you've solved your top layer, what you need to do is solve this middle ring next, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All we're going to do is swapping logic. We'll swap two pieces. If we swap this piece with this piece will be in its spot. It's very simple, like that. So before we start, we're going to have to learn two algorithms. I call this algorithm the cornered edge swap because it swaps these two pieces, and they're two edge pieces and they're kind of cornered with each other. So yeah, the first algorithm is going to be the righty version, and that goes like this. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D2, R, D, R prime, D2, R, D, R prime, D prime, R. The second algorithm is going to be the lefty version, and that goes like this. L, D, L prime, D prime, L, D2, L prime, D prime, L, D2, L prime, D prime, L, D, L prime. Now, what you need to know is that if you do the righty algorithm, this piece is going to swap with this piece. And not only these two pieces swapping, but this color with this color, and this color with this color. It's not this color with this color, or this color with this color, except these two colors swap and these two colors swap. You're going to notice that red is here, and when I do the swap, red's going to be here. Blue is here, and when I do the swap, blue is going to be here. So, like this. See? So that's all you have to know, and once you know that, the step should be very simple. Okay, so what you do is you're going to look at the yellow layer and find a piece that has no yellow in it at all. So this piece has no yellow in it, and it is green and red. Take note of these colors. Now, find your whatever color's in front and line it up with its center piece. Hold that in the front. Now you're going to rotate so that your white side is on the top. Now you're going to see what color this piece is, the bottom piece. This is the piece we're swapping. So this color is red, so you're going to hold red in the front. Now you notice that your piece is to the left, and when your piece is to the left, you have to do the lefty algorithm, because the lefty algorithm swaps this piece with this piece with this piece. So you hold it like this, and you do the lefty algorithm up. Very simple, just follow the algorithm on the screen, and now you see that this piece is now in its spot. So you have solved the first piece. Now you're going to look at your yellow layer again, find a piece with no yellow in it, that's an edge piece, so this piece. So exact same thing as last time. We're going to line up this color with its color and hold the white on the top. Figure out what this color on the bottom is, it's red. Now hold facing the red. And now that this piece is on the right, you're going to do the righty algorithm. So that's gonna look like this. Just follow the algorithm on screen, and now you have your next piece solved very easy. And it's in its spot, and then you can move on to the next piece, but before you do that, don't do that. So after we get these three pieces, we are going to completely forget about this third piece for now. But I'll get to that later. I have some special cases to go through. Okay, you may find a time where you're looking for your next piece to swap, and every single piece on the yellow layer has yellow in it. So you're like, where do I find my pieces? But you'll notice that they're actually in the middle ring, but they're simply not solved. So what you have to do that is just pull one of these pieces out, and that is very simple. So just hold it to your right, hold whatever piece you want to remove to your right, and do the righty swap algorithm. And that pulls it out, and you can proceed like normal. And now if you come to the spot where you've done all this and this spot is not open, there's no open spots here, you're just going to have to remove a piece like I showed you earlier. Hold whatever piece you want to the right, do the swap, and it will be removed. Very simple. And now, if the last special case is if you're doing your final piece, it's not on the yellow, and you actually see it's here and it's swapped, all you have to do is just the same thing as before. Hold it in the right and do the swap algorithm to remove it, and then do the steps to put it back in. Like I've been saying earlier, is you want to leave one slot open, and that also means make sure that there are no swapped pieces. That has to be, this piece has to have a yellow in it. So we are going to solve the yellow cross, and this is the hardest step of the whole thing. If you can do this, you can very easily solve it. So again, this is very simple swapping logic. Now what you need to do is you need to find if there are any yellow edge pieces with yellow on the top. We're going to focus on one. Like sometimes there might be two, sometimes there might be zero, and if there's zero, I'll get to that in a second. So you're going to line this piece up, and you're going to swap this piece to here, so it will be lined up too. So this is a step where you have to remember that if you're doing the righty algorithm, whatever is in the front will be on the bottom. So if you are holding it to your left and you don't see yellow, and you swap it, yellow is not going to be on the bottom. So you have to hold it to the side where you see yellow in this spot, and it's on the right. So you're going to be doing the righty algorithm. So you know that the righty algorithm is going to put this piece right here. So you line up this piece with its color, and this piece is going to be lined up with orange, which is very lucky. So we can very simply just do the righty swap. like that. And now we see this piece, we hold it to where it's yellow, and when it's yellow on the front, it's to the left, so we know that we're going to be doing the lefty swapping algorithm. So to make sure it's on the bottom. Now we notice that if we move this piece here, this color is going to be green instead of blue. So what we need to do is get this piece over here by what we call setup moves. So we know that only these two pieces swap and it doesn't affect any of the other edges. So what we need to do is, if this piece needs to go here, we need to rotate this to bring it here, and very easy, follow this piece. Now it's right here. Once you get it in its spot, make sure you do the right swap. In this case, it's lefty. And then once you do that, you can realign these pieces, and they are all in their spots, and it's very simple. Do the same thing with the last one. So this piece, we hold the front where yellow is facing us. Yellow's to the right, so we're doing the righty algorithm. So this piece is going to end up here, which is not good. It's gonna swap this piece, get rid of this, because this piece is already solved. Now, this piece needs to go here, and if we do the lefty swap, it would put it here, except yellow would be on the wrong side. So we have to do the righty swap to make sure yellow goes on the correct side, but this is gonna bring it here. So all we have to do is bring blue spot, which is here, and rotate it over to the right spot. Do the righty swapping algorithm. And boom, you have a yellow cross. Now I'm gonna go through a couple cases just to make sure you can do it 100% of the time. Okay, now here's one of those cases where you look at the yellow side after you've done the 3F2L pairs and leaving out the 4th, and you see that there is no edge piece with yellow facing up. So this is actually the easiest one to do. What you need to do is take this piece, of course, figure out which one you're doing. You hold it to the front where you can see yellow. It's on the left, so you're doing the lefty swap algorithm, and just swap it. It's as easy as that. But one thing you want to be careful of is, you know, this piece and this piece are going to swap. Try to make sure that you don't swap with this piece, because this piece has no yellow on it, and if you bring it up here, you're just going to have to bring it back down, and that's an extra algorithm that you don't want to have to do. Swap with any other piece you'd like. And then you'll have a bar, and you can line this up and work from there. And now the final case that I'm going to show you is where you've managed to solve all of these pieces by accident, unless you're not thinking right, and you have a yellow cross already done. Then if that happens, then you get really lucky and you get to completely skip the step. But you also have to make sure that all of these edge colored pieces can be correct with their centers at the same time. If they cannot, you have to do more swapping algorithms. Now, I do the righty algorithm because that's just easier for me. If you're lefty, you can do the lefty algorithm. You know how all the swapping works. I've already explained it to you. So you're going to swap this piece. So what you're going to do is you're going to find a piece that is not solved according to your edges. If there are other pieces that are solved and there's some that aren't, you're going to swap whatever piece with this piece. So like this. So now you can proceed as normal and you haven't messed up any of these. Okay, now one more case that I'm going to show you here is if you have two edges solved, they don't have to be in a line. It is perfectly okay if they're in an L shaped like this or something, but we're just worrying about the number. If there are two solved and they can't be solved according to their centers at the same time, you simply pick whichever one is easiest for you. So you pick one to be solved when you swap this piece. So you could pick green and swap here, but you notice that if you do that, you're swapping the piece that doesn't have yellow. So if I were you, I would line up orange and swap with green because you're not swapping this piece. You never want to swap with this piece until the very end. And now for the final case I'm going to show you is if you have 3 or more yellow pieces already on top, you're going to want to line it up so that where you have 2 of them, there's always at least 2 of these are going to be able to be solved at one time. You're going to line them up so you have the most solved at one time. so you can use less swaps to solve the cube, therefore it being faster. So in this case, you're going to want to swap with this piece and not this piece, because this is the piece without the yellow. You never want to swap with that. So you just move this piece over to where this piece is going to swap with, and of course do the lefty swap. And then move on from there. Okay, so now that we have a yellow cross, we are going to orient it so that there's all yellow on this top layer. This step is called OLL, which stands for orientation of the last layer. Okay, so we have our yellow cross. At the moment, we're not worrying about the corner pieces. We're worrying about the fact that we have the yellow cross. Now we can start worrying about these corner pieces. So you see that yellow is already facing up. We're not worrying about this like we did for first layer. We're only worrying about if yellow is facing up. Now this part is extremely easy and might be very satisfying and very shocking to you because it doesn't make too much sense how it works, but it does. So all you're going to do is you're going to line up an unsolved corner piece in the yellow. Yellow's going to be on the bottom. You're going to line up an unsolved corner piece in front of you, and you are going to do righty sexy moves like this until this piece is solved. The whole algorithm is R, U, R prime, U prime, and then you might see R, U, R prime gets this fixed, and you might want to move on from there. But always make sure you do the last U prime, or this will mess up and you'll have to completely start over your solve. So once we've done that, we have this yellow in its spot. This looks all messed up, and this might be disappointing to you because you think, oh shoot, I messed it up. But no, everything's right. Now what you have to do is you're rotating the bottom layer until you have another unsolved in front of you like this. And make sure that you don't rotate the entire cube, only rotate the bottom layer. So the bottom layer has been rotated, now this is in the front, and now keep doing sexy moves until this piece orients itself correctly. And now you see it's oriented, and you'll also see that this side has completely fixed itself again. Yeah, I know, it's really cool. So now this is a little more intimidating because you have more pieces that need to be rotated. In fact, all of the corner pieces. But this is really no problem. It's no different. You hold it so you have an unsolved in front of you. You do sexy moves until it's solved. You're gonna rotate the bottom layer to another one and do sexy moves until it's solved. Same thing with the next and the next. And at the end of all of this, if you did it right, no matter how many you had to swap, whether it's 2, 3, 4, or none, this will always end up solved again. So that is very simple. That is how you orient the last layer. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be solving the rest from here. This is called PLL, or permutation of the last layer. If you do advanced methods, you can just use one algorithm to do this. But that's a little complicated because you need to learn 20 or so algorithms just to be able to do that. So we're going to find a simple way that works every single time. Now, like before, to orient the last layer, you're going to find an unsolved spot, but instead of looking at this, we are looking at these. You see how these pieces are not lined up with their edges, stuff where this is. So we want to find one that is unsolved like this, and now hold it in front of you and do this algorithm. R, U, R prime. And now, like before, you are going to rotate the bottom layer to another unsolved one. And also, like before, you don't rotate the whole cube, only the bottom layer. And you're pretty much going to undo what you did earlier, which is going to be R, U prime, R prime. And you notice that this didn't solve itself. So instead of going to the next unsolved like before, you're going to do this. You're going to pull this back out, R, U, R prime. Instead, you're going to see where this piece needs to go. So it's yellow, you look at these pieces, so orange and green. So you're going to find these two pieces, these edge pieces that are orange and green, and if everything's correct, between them should not be solved, because this piece is what needs to be here to be solved, and if this piece is here and this is solved, get a new cube because yours is broken in a weird way. So you rotate the bottom layer until your correct slot, orange and green, is right in front. And then you do the R, U prime, R prime. And now you see that this corner is now solved. Now you're gonna look at this piece now instead of this one. You alternate these pieces. That means you're doing it. So this piece is yellow, and now you have orange and blue. Now you find your orange and blue center or edge pieces. So orange and blue, well, orange and blue here. Now you rotate the bottom layer so that right here is between them. And now you're going to do the first algorithm, R, U, R prime. And now everything is in its spot like that. Now you need to see this piece over here, of course, is yellow. And now you need to find where it goes. So it goes between the red and blue pieces. So red and blue. So you rotate them to be in the spot. And now you do the second algorithm, R, U prime, R prime. And from there, you should be one turn away from solving the entire thing if it's not already solved. So that's how you do it basically, but there's still a couple cases before you leave that you need to be aware of. Okay, here's another case where it's pretty much the same thing as last time. So you're gonna find an unsolved piece, pull it out with R, U, R prime, find where it goes. It goes between the blue and the orange is back here. Rotate the bottom layer twice so that blue and orange is is in front of you, and you put it back in with R, U prime, R prime. Okay, and now you're gonna do like last time, switch to this piece, see which one it is. It's between red and green. You're gonna find where that is. That's all the way back here. So you're going to do your D2 to move it right where it needs to go, and you're going to do R, U, R prime like before. And now you're gonna switch to this piece. Oh wait, you notice that this piece does not have yellow in it like it should. It has white instead. You may be thinking that you did something wrong, but no, that is simply because of the case you got, and there is no problem. All you have to do is just align an unsolved piece and swap it and bring it back in. And now you look here, and this piece should have yellow in it and be solvable. So it's blue and red. You find blue and red is here. Rotate the bottom layer. So blue and red, like that. Put it in with your RUR prime. And now you're gonna find these pieces. This piece is green and orange. So you're gonna find the green and orange edges, line them up, do your RU prime R, and then from there you should be one move away from solving the cube. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that is everything you need to know to be able to solve the cube, and from here you should be able to solve it consistently. Just before we end, I wanted to make sure that this is known that this is not the fastest method by any means. If you want to get faster, you're going to have to find something more advanced. What you see on the screen right now is me speed solving this method. I don't practice this method, so it could be better than what you're seeing. So if you practice, you could eventually do this method faster than me. But this solve lasted about a minute, where my average is about 15 seconds. So it's a lot slower than more advanced methods that you could use. And if you want to learn more advanced methods, I will have those videos on my channel very soon, but as of now, this is the only one. So I hope this video helped you a lot. Comment below if it did. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends in case they want to learn how to solve the cube too. Or don't, then you can just show off to them and stuff like that. Anyways, like and subscribe. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.